This episode of the Sillycast is brought to you by cardboard. Cardboard is the ideal material for you to put your belongings in when you want to send them someplace else. It doesn't really matter where they're going to. You need to put it in cardboard. So if you're planning on just taking your belongings cross country, or if you're trying to just take some new stuff you bought from the store to your house, you probably want that stuff to be in cardboard. Check out today's sponsor, Cardboard. Oh my gosh, there's a theme song. There's a theme song. It's always cutting me off. Theme song. Welcome to another episode of the Sillycast, the only podcast on the internet that Tomahawk didn't write a thing for. I don't like that one. I'm going to do another one.
Boo.
I've done that. I've done that bit before, and it was better the previous time. What is it I'm going to say? Welcome to another episode. Don't like that either. Welcome to another episode of the Sillycast, the only podcast on the internet that I value more than sleep. And nobody else values it at all. I am your host. My name is Tomahawk. And this is the show where we take any topic and just make it so dang silly, you wouldn't believe it. You'll watch it and you go, that was pretty silly. I didn't believe him at first, but I guess now I believe him. And joining me today is the original co-host of this show. It's James Sears.
Hey, everybody. Hey, how's it going?
How is it going, James? Tell me. I demand to know how it is going.
Well, in terms of sleep, like you mentioned earlier, not so great. Otherwise, I'm doing really well, actually. Doing really well.
Wow. You look really well. If someone were to ask me to describe what I'm seeing, it would be really well. And that's how I would say that. James, I'm so glad you're here. I was suggested a topic, and this topic was suggested by Dylan Scott Greco or Greco. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. I'm sorry. People should start leaving me pronunciations of their names when they leave me a suggestion, unless you want me to butcher it. But I appreciate your support, Dylan. I appreciate it a lot. The suggestion that Dylan has given us is, what is the best drunk sandwich? And this is a particular problem for me to solve because I don't drink. So what I figured we'll do is we are going to take the Subway menu, and each sandwich that's on the menu, we're just going to discuss what kind of personality it would have when it is sober and how that personality is different when it is drunk. And James, you are my resident alcoholic. That is a joke. I don't think you have a problem. But honestly, I'm not around you all the time, so I don't know what you got going on. How does all this sound to you? Does it sound fun? Or is this nothing? I can't tell.
You're just lucky you caught me sober today, honestly, but I think I'll give you some pretty good insight.
Nice. I'm excited. I'm going to learn so much in this. I see that look in your eye of you're Mr. Miyagi right now, and I am the Karate Kid.
Haven't seen it.
You haven't seen the Karate Kid?
Nope.
Me either. We're not going to talk about it. Okay. We are going to jump in with our first sandwich. Are you ready, James?
Are you more than ready?
Okay.
I'm hungry.
Well, that's not good. We're not going to eat the sandwiches on this. Are you sure you're ready? Do you want to get a bite to eat and then we can come back?
I'm drinking a protein milkshake right now, actually.
Okay. That's fine enough, I guess. But maybe I'm hungry. We're going to be right back. And we're back through the magic of editing. The first sandwich we're going to tackle is the barbecue chicken sub. James, do you have any thoughts immediately jumping out at you about the barbecue chicken sub?
So, my first instinct, they probably have some class, like Southern class, in a more of like a Texas kind of way.
Interesting.
Really polite. I'm getting some ranch vibes, like someone that lives on a ranch and has some cows.
As opposed to ranch, the dressing / dipping sauce.
Right. So I'm getting a polite blonde cowgirl that just, is really grateful that you want to even choose her, to have her as a sandwich.
Good. Very eloquent, very well spoken, James. I have to say, the vibe that I'm getting from the sandwich is it's a bit pretentious. And I think this just comes from the name barbecue. I don't know if pretentious is quite the right word, but I find it really annoying that we as a society have agreed that barbecue just is BBQ. You hardly ever see it actually spelled out. You see BBQ and you're just like, yes, barbecue. Your brain doesn't even have a moment where it has to translate it. It's just in our language. It's in our lexicon. And I find that really annoying. And I don't have a reason why. I just do. Any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on this dumb thing that my brain is spouting out right now?
I don't get why that's pretentious. That doesn't make any sense at all, but
I said pretentious probably wasn't the right word.
Pretentious barbecue. I really want to try that.
Stop shaming me.
I think it would taste pretty good, but it had to live up to its name. But I mean, yeah, we use a lot of acronyms. What is it like?
That would be an initialism.
Initialism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I don't think it would be because it's all in the same word.
It could also be because.
Sorry, go ahead.
It could also be because there's two different meanings for barbecue, because it could be a verb to barbecue something.
Mm-hmm. That
could be pretentious. I mean, you could be the barbecue king and say, you're not worthy to come to my barbecue.
I feel like I got the pretentious thing from my my distaste for Guy Fieri and his insistence on people calling him Fieri. I think it's the same thing there. Are you familiar with this?
I'm not, but
so Guy Fieri, his real name is Guy Fieri. And he took up Guy Fieri as a stage name. And he's like, it's actually Guy Fieri. And I don't know, whenever anyone's like, it's definitely Fieri, I'm like, that's pretentious. And I think the barbecue BBQ thing is just carried over from that. And I just realized it now. I'm going to concede that I was wrong. And I'm just going to go with your answer. And we've spent too much time on this sandwich, especially while it's sober. We got to talk about what the sandwich is like when it's drunk. James, tell me about alcohol. What's the sandwich going to be like when it's drunk?
It's probably not going to be very in the sandwich. I'd imagine that'd be kind of outside of the bread, coming out a little bit. There's probably a little too much sauce going on, because sometimes, or most of the time, when you get barbecue chicken, there's a good mixture of the chicken and the sauce. So I'm just imagining just kind of a slop of meat and sauce just everywhere coming out of the bread.
Okay, so are we going to say just what happens? Because we initially gave the sandwich a personality, and now you're just like, yes, if we actually poured alcohol onto the sandwich, it would turn into a pasty slop, as it were. What would the personality you described earlier, what would it be like when she's drunk? You made it a she earlier. Uh, what are drunk people like? Tell me what drunk people are like, James.
Well, there's different types. There's sleepy.
We're gonna go with that
happy. One. Just think of all the seven dwarves and Snow White.
Ah, yes, that movie I've also seen.
So just imagine a sleepy barbecue chicken sandwich. What would it do? You know, it would be asleep, so probably a little floppy.
Yep. All the letters of BBQ are going to turn into Z's. That's all I got for that. Let's move on to the next one. We got a lot to get through. We're sticking on the chicken train. I wasn't anticipating that to rhyme, but it did, and I'm thrilled about it. Okay, it's buffalo chicken. It's a little spicier than the barbecue chicken.
Ooh, got a little twist going.
Yeah, a little spicy twist. So, what is a spicy personality type? I say it is the type of person who does a podcast and lives with their parents and probably buys too much geeky merchandise for themselves. I think that's a very spicy person. And that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this sandwich. What about you, James?
I'm getting this weird feeling you're talking about yourself.
I would never. I hate myself. I hate myself so much. So much.
I don't know what this has to do with buffalo chicken. Anyway.
I would never talk about me. Continue.
So, you know, it's not my favorite type of spice, but it's the Subway version of it, so automatically it's kind of second rate. So we'll say a sober version of the sandwich is probably just kind of a really bland guy with really bad jokes that, you know, just got back from the gym, has a protein milkshake next to him, sitting in his living room.
I'm getting the sneaking suspicion that you're trying to make this about me again. Why are you trying to make this sandwich me? I don't even have a protein milkshake next to me, James. What's this about? What's this about? Why are we doing this?
Because it's just a boring buffalo chicken sandwich, you know, with really bad jokes.
And those jokes are only going to get worse when the sandwich is emboldened by alcohol. Without those, you know, what am I looking for here? What's the word I'm looking for? Inhibitions?
Spiced.
It's not spiced. Without any feelings like holding the sandwich back, the jokes are just going to come out faster and they're going to make less and less sense as the night goes on. That's what this drunk sandwich is going to be like. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I know one guy that just has horrible jokes, and every time he just like throws them out there one by one, and most of the time it doesn't stick, but when it does, it's kind of okay. So I imagine this is the same way, you know, you throw the buffalo chicken.
Yeah.
You bite into it and you're like, okay, it's spicy, but not as spicy as it could be. Not as good as it could be.
Not as spicy, not as good. Reminds me of somebody. All right, so the next sandwich we have on our list is the Black Forest ham. And I think the only thing I can think of when I hear that name is Robin Hood. I think it's just the word forest. So I think this sandwich is Robin Hood. You can't argue with me on this.
That's some slippery slope logic there.
Okay, look, the only other option was Forrest Gump, and then it's Black Forest Gump. And I figured, hey, the Robin Hood one is probably a safer way to go. But fine, since you're insistent on discussing what Forrest Gump would be like if he was black, I'll leave it on you. Go ahead, give us that synopsis.
I thought we were talking about Subway sandwiches.
We are. It's the Black Forest Gump ham sandwich.
This is dangerous territory, Tom. And the Black Forest ham also, you don't know really what it really is, I feel like. So
I'm pretty sure it's pork.
is it?
I mean, I think so. I mean, there's no way of proving it. It's just a hunch.
Well, we know if it was a Black Forest skunk, he would have.
Oh no, this is actually going to get racist, isn't it, James? All right, I just want to make this clear. James is the racist, not me. You can at him on Twitter at what now, James?
Don't have one.
Well, I'm sorry, on Instagram at he's too vain for Twitter.
White people can't fight. What do you mean?
I'm just you're getting into broad stereotypes, and I'm just like, somebody's not going to be happy about it. It's not that I felt like you said anything too much already. I was just trying to make it uncomfortable for you, but it looked like you were actually trying to take that swing. We're just going to move on. Just not going to bother with that one. Chicken bacon ranch. That's the next one.
Chicken bacon ranch.
I like this
regret. One. Just a lot of regret.
Really? I love this sandwich. It's tasty. It's a tasty sandwich. So we need a tasty personality type. I am going to look at my Marvel Avengers Infinity War poster, and I'm just going to steal a personality from one of the characters on that poster, since it's that's the thing I like, and the sandwich is the thing I like. Okay, so it's a snarky white guy who makes a lot of quips, and typically things more or less work out for them. That's the character archetype of this sandwich. And when they're drunk, they just get so sad. They have a very sad backstory, probably about their parents. Probably. Any thoughts on this one?
I'm getting more of a feeling that this guy lost his parents when he was very young. So that's probably why he was very sad. But he's also a very vanilla kind of guy. Just like chicken bacon, just like chicken bacon ranch. It's pretty vanilla and filled with a lot of regret.
Vanilla does not go on chicken bacon ranch. There's a lot of flavor profiles there already. You don't need vanilla on that.
That's true. But when you go to Subway, you're trying to get kind of a healthy version of fast food. And I don't think chicken bacon ranch is like that the way to go, you know?
I mean, not necessarily healthy. Some people just like Subway. I like Subway. I'm bold enough to say it. I like Subway, even though they paid a pedophile $10 million to sell their sandwiches. I'm willing to look past that. I like Subway. Their cookies are all right. And speaking of vanilla choices, here's possibly the most vanilla choice on the menu. The cold cut combo. It's stupid and I hate it, and I don't understand why anyone would ever buy it.
Well, it's all I get, so.
Of course it is.
Cold cut.
Why are we friends? Explain that to me right now.
I'm just kidding. I just get whatever the daily discount is. So
the sandwich of the day.
I don't discriminate. Come on. But cold cut.
It sounded like you were about to discriminate earlier. That's all I'm saying.
I'm getting some kind of feeling that it's really a person that's kind of prudish, kind of standoffish. You know, it gives you the cold shoulder. You know, you feeling that when they're sober, and then when they like start to get drunk, those type of people usually go wild.
Yeah, I was thinking they're going to open up quite a bit. Yeah,
just kind of go off the rails. You know,
I concur with our findings here. All right, the next sandwich is the Italian BMT. And no matter how many times I am told what is in this sandwich, what the BMT stands for, I can never remember it. Do you know what it is?
Bacon, mayo, tomato. I have no idea.
Okay, all right, so we're just gonna say that this person is the wild card.
Big manly tamale.
Yep, that is the personality type. It is the big manly tamale.
Sweet.
And when the big manly tamale is drunk, they just feel so small. They feel so small and insecure. Not manly at all.
Probably calls mom.
Mm-hmm. This isn't related. There's no segue into this, but I just keep getting distracted by your background. Joe Yif'al.
Yeah, you've never heard of him?
Who is Joe Yif'al? Is that a Star Wars character?
It's a guy named Joe, and he's always full.
Oh.
He eats way too much.
And he loves to yiff.
He's a big manly tamale.
Do you know what yiff means?
No, I don't.
Okay, we're just going to go. All right, the next sandwich is the meatball marinara. We're on a streak of ones I don't like. I don't like the idea of putting balls on my sandwich. I'm against it.
I concur with you. I think it has its place, but a sandwich ain't one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what type of ball you're talking about.
A meatball. Balls made of meat. How? I don't feel like we can get any clearer than this, James.
Is it a big manly meatball?
It might be. Depending, size is relative.
If it has marinara, then I think it justifies it. It doesn't really matter what type of ball, as long as it has marinara.
See, I just think it's structurally unsound and it makes me nervous. So I think the personality type of this sandwich is just inherently unstable. It's just their life is constantly on the brink of collapse all of the time. This is your crackhead of a sandwich.
Yeah, because it might just fall out. You never know. Whenever you grip the sandwich, it might just fall out at the other end.
Might just bottom out.
Right. Yeah. So
that's almost
probably
wordplay.
checked into rehab. You don't really know what he's gonna do next.
John Mulaney.
I think he'd be a fun guy to be friends with.
That is the John Mulaney of sandwiches. At time of recording, he recently checked into rehab. Okay, the next up is the oven roasted chicken. How do you feel about the oven roasted chicken sandwich, James?
I will say this is the one that I get more than all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I like about it is you get the most meat. So it's the biggest bang for your buck. And the chicken's pretty good. I mean, perfect amount of salt and pepper. So I would say it's your handyman. It's the guy that knows how to do everything.
I agree that he's the guy that knows how to do everything, but he is just a little bit bland. Like, he doesn't have any interests in particular. Like, if you haven't had this sandwich at Subway, the chicken is not like an actual chicken breast. It is like a weird, bizarro chicken patty that has been grilled. It does not taste like normal chicken. It is so strange to eat. Compare in your mind the oven roasted chicken sandwich to the rotisserie chicken sandwich. If you've had that. Have you had that?
I have not, actually. Have you?
I have. It was probably my favorite sandwich they had there at the time. I think they have discontinued it since COVID has started. But yeah, they kept the oven roasted one.
Why would they even have the oven roasted if they had rotisserie? It's like,
well, one's a lot cheaper and one's much more expensive, but the rotisserie was way better. Well worth the money.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely the type of guy who doesn't know how to do everything and is a little more stingy, but he'll definitely buy the whole bar a drink. This guy, the oven roasted chicken guy, he just gets his regular beer, and if he has too many, he has anger issues.
Mm-hmm.
He probably gets into a bar fight and then regrets it immediately, wakes up passed out in the dumpster.
I agree. Now, this next sandwich, I think the personality writes itself. It is called the Spicy Italian. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. I think we should just move on.
I don't really... That's a tough one. I mean, there's not really much personality in it.
It's just an angry Italian man. So it's just somebody who's normally mad and talks with their hands. It's okay to make fun of Italian people, right?
It's a family recipe.
Sure, yeah. Mamma mia, this meatball's spicier than I thought it would be. Okay, the next one is the steak and cheese.
Do you have a history with this one?
Yeah. It's weird that like they specify that cheese is on certain sandwiches, because I'm pretty sure it comes like in the price for all of them. It's always like bread, meat, and cheese. That's the order in which they ask you what you want, right? Why not just say that this is the steak sandwich? You know?
Well, then it would just be steak. Because if you have cheese, that's a whole different world. I mean,
but it's not, because it's implied. The other sandwiches come with cheese, but they don't include it in the title. The oven roasted chicken, you can get cheese on it, no extra cost. They ask you if you want cheese, and you just say yes, and then you choose the one you want.
No,
why specify?
You actually have to have cheese on it, or they're gonna hold a gun to your head. I mean,
they won't fire it, but they will hold it to your head. It's going to be very cold, and you'll feel very uncomfortable.
Right. So you better put cheese on that. Better slap cheese on that steak.
Okay, so the steak and cheese. I like the steak. I don't love it. And I'm trying to think of a person I like, but I don't love. So I'm going to say that this is a guy who would be drinking a protein milkshake. Like, don't love. What do you think of that?
I reciprocate. We have a tough love going on.
Yeah. I guess we do.
So you're saying I'm steak and cheese?
Yeah. And I'm lactose intolerant. Okay. What do you like when you're drunk, James?
Pretty talkative, and I get a little more bold. So I try to make people laugh more than usual. I lose my filter, so because I usually filter out what I say, and I think about what I say before I say it. But yeah, just completely lose my filter.
I was about to say, I was like, how do you lose your filter? It's screwed onto the mic stand right now. It's a thing that you're speaking into. That black circle, that's a filter.
Yeah, it is. But, I'm not always recording when I drink.
Oh.
Rarely ever get drunk.
Gotcha.
Usually it's just unintentional. Unintentional.
I was going to give you the chance to just re-record that line. If you're ever not happy with a line you say, just take a break, say it again so I have an edit point. I'm going to do my best to make you look all right, buddy.
Thanks. I already look great, so don't worry about it.
True dat. The next sandwich is the sweet onion chicken teriyaki. Have you had this one?
No.
I love it. It's weird. It's also a sandwich that I'm like, I don't think cheese goes on this. What kind of cheese goes with teriyaki? Nothing. No cheese goes with teriyaki. Teriyaki's fine on its own. It's a cheese of its own. If you really stretch the definition of cheese to not be cheese, you could totally include teriyaki as cheese. Don't you think?
It sounds like it could be one, maybe from some foreign country.
Mm-hmm. I just think that this is one of the coolest, most interesting personalities you could possibly come into contact with. Not to mention, so teriyaki has got a very distinct flavor. It's not for everybody, but honestly, let's not kid ourselves. It's for most people. And the sweet onion sauce that goes on the chicken teriyaki is sweet. So you got this very distinct personality with very sweet undertones. Who doesn't like a sweet person? And this sweet person's only going to get sweeter when they're drunk, right? Am I right? I think I'm right. Tell me I'm right, James.
I think you're right. And I really want to have a drink with this man and slash woman.
And slash woman. Who is slash woman, people. James?
It's actually two people that
okay.
morphed into one, and they're just really sweet.
Yum, yum, yum. I am never going to order this sandwich. The next one is tuna. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. It looks like it's already been eaten.
It probably has. There's probably a guy in the back that's designated to chew up the tuna and then spits it
tuna.
out. Hi, would you like some tuna?
That
was a really bad bit.
Yep. I feel like this sandwich is the personality equivalent of the kid who lives down the street that you don't talk to. He only eats mayo and saltines, and you're like, I don't like this kid. I don't trust him. That's who the sandwich is to me. And when he's drunk, he just gets more dangerous.
Whoa. First of all, why is a kid getting drunk, dude? That's my first.
I was implying that he had grown up, but yes, that is part of why he's so dangerous. He's very unpredictable.
Yeah, we need to find out who their parents are, probably call the Child Protective Services.
About just the saltines and mayo thing, not even worrying about the alcohol.
Right. I don't know how tuna morphed into this, but you have quite the imagination.
I do. I use it some of the time. Okay. All right. We're closing in towards the end of this. Are you ready? We got two more. Well, then all we have to do is decide which sandwich is the best one sober and which one is the best one drunk. Okay. I feel like this is an easy peasy episode, don't you think? They need an easy peasy sandwich at Subway. That's also another thing we need to discuss. Okay, so the second to last one is the turkey breast. What is the personality of the turkey breast, James? Let me hear it.
Well, turkeys are very elusive. They are very agile, and they also group up together. So,
are you describing turkeys or velociraptors?
I've never seen a velociraptor, but I have seen turkeys, and man, do they got breasts.
Uh-huh. They also have what looks like balls on their face.
Yeah, those are the beards.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what are these velociraptors like when they're drunk?
They just get more elusive. But they're a little more clumsy with it. So
okay.
They think they're hiding, but you can see them in plain sight. You know, they just put the lampshade on their head and they think that nobody can see them.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right. So the last sandwich we have it's delightful. This is the most delightful personality we're going to have. It's the veggie delight.
That's not delightful.
It's not. I feel like this is the person. This is the person who thinks that they are delightful, but actually is unbearable to be around.
Yeah, it's more like the veggie depression.
Yeah, nobody actually likes this person. This is the Karen of sandwiches. this is that. It's that kind of vibe. It might not be Karen specifically, but it's in that ballpark. You feel me?
Yeah. So on the outside, she's a really nice, polite lady, but God forbid you get her order wrong. Mm-hmm. So she's going to call the manager.
And I feel like that kind of rage is going to show when this sandwich is drunk. Do you agree or no?
You broke up a little bit.
Yeah, I'll do it again. So I think that kind of rage is going to show when this sandwich is drunk. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a force to be reckoned with. And I'm just going to stay away from it. I mean, I don't really like veggie stuff in the first place. Mm. And, when it's drunk, it's a wild card, She could just be really sweet on the inside. Just peeling away all those layers of anger and her divorce and children that left.
Really painting a sad picture. I used to get the Veggie Delight kind of a lot back when Subway would have mushrooms, because I would make the mushrooms more or less the meat base and then get that toasted with some cheese on top. And it more or less worked. Some spinach and whatnot. It was pretty good. But Subway's gotten rid of their mushrooms, and I have not. That's been one of the most emotionally devastating blows dealt to me within the past year or so. I have been struggling to find peace since that occurred.
Do you want to talk about it? No, virtually patting her back.
Not on mic. I don't. This is the Sillycast, and I don't want the silly heads out there to see me cry, because I will cry.
Well,
all right.
For Christmas, I'll get you some mushrooms. I'll make sure they were chewed first, and then I'll just spit them into an envelope.
You just missed Christmas, so I gotta wait all year to get these mushrooms, because this episode is going to be coming out in January. Yep. All right, so James, out of all the sandwiches we have discussed, which one do you think is the best one when you're sober, when they're sober? Who's the one that you just want to hang out with?
I'm going to go with Velociraptors.
They just get more elusive. The ones that you described as like elusive, hunting in packs. Whatever it was you said.
Yeah.
It was turkey. It was the turkey sandwich. That's your choice.
A friendship you have to work for.
Nice. My choice is probably the sweet onion chicken teriyaki, just because, bold flavors. I like a bold person who knows who they are and is able to just have fun and be themselves and have that underlying level of sweetness. I appreciate that. I'm doing this. James mocking me for doing this. And I'm going to do this for the rest of the episode.
No, I'm vibing with you. I want the sweet onion.
Nice.
I think you need to be the new pedophile that they hire.
It's been a long time since I've gotten a genuine laugh on this podcast. Whoopsie, I probably shouldn't have said that. This is when I'm just going to call out Dawson's so unfunny. He can't make me laugh ever at all. He can't do it. All right. The best drunk sandwich.
Oh, man.
All right, I'll go while you're thinking about it. The one I'm going to choose is the turkey one, just because you started by describing them as elusive, and they only got more elusive, but clumsy. And if anybody knows anything about me, it's that I love this stuff that's around me right now, especially this fan. I love this fan. I'm also a fan of all this stuff. So I have to choose anything that's relevant to dinosaurs. I'm choosing the Velociraptor one. That was what all that was leading to. It's very late. I'm so tired. I just want it to end. I just want to see some Velociraptors fall on their face. That's all I want. And I stopped doing my little shoulder thing. I'm back to doing my shoulder thing. Okay, James, let's hear your answer. What's the best drunk sandwich? Tell Dylan what the best drunk sandwich is.
I really want to meet Guy Fieri while he's drunk, so I'm gonna go with. Was it? I don't even remember which sandwich it was.
It was the barbecue.
Right. Yeah, he's probably going to have some big bites, and he'll offer them all up, and it'll just be endless.
Yeah.
Big bites for days.
Big bites. That's what the BB stands for in BBQ. Big bites.
And then
and then the letter Q.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
But
the Q stands for question. And the question is, what does the Q stand for?
all I ever want to accomplish in life now is just to get drunk with Guy Fieri.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you came on to this episode. My shoulder thing got thrown off a little. I'm so glad you came on to this episode, James. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you diving into this in such a precise and scientific manner so we could definitively say which sandwiches were the best. I hope you are satisfied, Dylan. Thank you for giving us that suggestion. Also, dear listener, if you're not Dylan, tell me what you want me to talk about. Who do you want to see me talk to? I'll do it. I don't care. It doesn't matter what the topic is. Just consider it done. Just holler at me. I love it. James, is there anything you would like to plug? I'm going to stop doing this. I'm tired of moving.
I'd like to give a shout out to my dog. You know, she's my heart and soul. And I'd like to plug her new album. Mm-hmm. It's called Woof Woof.
Woof Woof.
And the first single that she's actually releasing is I Let the Dogs Out.
Ooh, it's a confession. Or wait, are you saying you let the dogs out, or the dog is saying that the dog let the dogs out?
She's saying that I did it. She's telling me, or she's calling me out, basically.
Understandable. I like how bold your dog is. Willing to figuratively bite the hand who feeds her. Okay. Be on the lookout for that, listeners. James, would you like to give me a brand new Patreon tier? You probably forgot about this bit, didn't you?
I totally forgot. But
give me a random number and give me a brand new thing that people get if they give me that number on Patreon. I don't have a Patreon.
Well, if you donate $5, you get already chewed tuna in an envelope.
Tuna.
If you donate $10, you get chewed tuna and mushrooms.
Yum yum yum.
In that envelope. And if you donate $500,
I feel like this is basically just turning into HelloFresh. So be very careful.
No, it's more like Goodbye Rotten.
All right. I like that even more.
So
they can't sue us for that.
Goodbye Rotten. Buy a subscription to get already chewed food in an envelope.
Yum, yum, yum. I've said that a lot this episode, and I will try my best to never say it again. Okay. Thank you for checking out this episode. You can find, hopefully, an extended audio version on all the major podcast platforms. Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and probably some other ones. Please like this video. If you comment upon it, I appreciate it because it drives up the engagement. And I have a very small YouTube channel. It's growing steadily since I've started doing the podcast and video. Subscribers are very slowly ticking up. And I'm like, hey, look at us go. This is exciting. Fun times. And I went back to doing it. All right. Is there anything else? You've been here on the internet before. You know what to do. I'm just going to let you go. I think we're done. Thanks, James.
Yep.
All right. We are gone. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Was this real goodbye?
No.
Oh, okay.